Into the Great Ace Attorney. We finished the first part of it last time. So yeah, we're gonna get started on episode 2 now. Let's go. What is it called? The Unspeakable Speckled Band? The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Apparently we're on the Titanic.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath. In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The Speckled Band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
Alright. I would have assumed that it was a bracelet, not a snake, but sure, yeah, whatever. On board the steamship Buria. Why am I on a steamship? Oh, there's an animation.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery. In his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. A Russian word. So, the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder, and in cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Sholmes. I presume you must have heard of me.
Why does Susato have a British accent? That's really my only question here. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Yes. This is actually 999. I've just woken up in the belly of a ship. Wait, I can't move. Ah, what the? Why am I in handcuffs? Huh, so, you wake up now, Oh, I thought it was gonna be Sherlock Sholmes, but I guess not. We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe how you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You found me then. We found you. And now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, sorry. Now you have been found. It is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, no, I'll tell you everything. There's only one thing I'd like to know from you. Isn't that... It's gotta be. Dang it! Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Mr. Sato! Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Why am I always the person that everyone thinks is the murderer? Jeez. Where is he? Where's Kazuma? No, you're serious. Ha, you pretend you do not know? You are a wolf in the sheep's pelt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. God dang it, the sexiest man alive! No! He was so young. Here, in this very cabin, that was bolted shut from the inside. His body? Please. Do not try to tell us you are doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But he can't be. And these handcuffs, surely you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. No! Why is this always the thing in Ace Attorney games where the person you like the most dies in the second episode? Kazuma, it was just 2 short weeks ago. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor, I thought I was gonna die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I really didn't think you'd be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. You don't know the half of it. Please take me, Kazuma. Hey, honestly, I thought I'd broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. Oh, I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotoba, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she'd give me away. No, but if she knew what we'd done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. If you say so, Kazuma, I'll do anything you want me to do. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it'll be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I'll be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe doors once you're inside. I don't know. Sure, yeah. We've only been at sea for 15 days. How can this have happened? We were supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. We leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make any more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Duh, you said before. You said you admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. It could have been Sherlock Holmes or Herlock Sholmes. Susato-san, please tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you too. Those eyes. She looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. Please tell me about Kazuma's death. God, he really has been killed, hasn't he? This isn't just a bad dream? Well, I am in handcuffs. And these handcuffs, they think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There's no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? I don't yet, but maybe at some point I will. You never know. This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge, even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. The cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we shall learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then? That's true, yes. Okay, well then tell me about the incident. Can anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably that's something you know the answer to better than anyone else. Please. Whatever you say, you were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first thing in the morning. His sword training, I assume? I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. But this morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? Who died? Kazuma died. A headband flowing in the wind, man? My love? I don't even know what to say. It's a terrible tragedy, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it. I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. Exactly. My husbando died. His killer will never get away with this, or my name isn't Rinosuke Naruhodo. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside... I can't even look. There was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. That's what I'm saying. There's no plot armor in a great Ace Attorney game. And the white tape there now shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. Okay, I do see there's a vent up in the top left side. So somebody maybe could have snuck through there or put some sort of gas in the room. That door is definitely airtight, so that's my assumption now. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now I've told you everything that I know, so it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes, all right. My head feels so heavy. It's still throbbing like anything. Okay, let's talk about me as a stowaway, I guess. Why are you even on board the ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I've been shut up in this cabin the entire time. I had no idea. But how could you have accompanied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, no, no! That would have been impossible, obviously! Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. Because we're lovers, as anyone would know. He actually asked you? But Why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Cosima, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? It's an idea that's been in my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that, but I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it. I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. You would have something to aspire to, wouldn't you, Cosima? Because I'm just so good at being a lawyer. Cosima-sama he was always saying the same thing, that he wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yeah, maybe. But something's still bothering me a little. The look in his eyes then, it was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san, I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you, my stowing away on the ship, I mean. If I know Cosima-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me, to avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. A word perfect, in fact. So let's talk about last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me, what happened last night here in this cabin? Well, the thing is, I don't really remember. Cosima brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep. Well, yeah. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Cosima-sama was killed? Well, yes. You're making me feel so guilty about this, Susato. I didn't even kill the man. I know it sounds unbelievable. Really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I'd woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me. I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there's no one else who could possibly have done this. Unless they weren't in the room. Come on, does anybody remember that locked door case from Conan? They did it with like a number of masks put together on a string with a knife at the end. Well, I guess that's a spoiler if you've never seen Conan, but also if you haven't seen Conan, you're probably not going to see Conan, so I feel okay with that. Cosima, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? Ugh, I can't take this. Also, why would Cosima write something in Russian? Actually, well, I guess he probably knew a number of languages. Don't try to go anywhere. You're the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Cosima was killed right under my nose here, and I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, and my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? Can you be my eyes and ears, Susato? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Cosima's life, and how and why they did it. So I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Hiya! Yeah, she judo flipped me. What the? That was a Susato takedown. Oh, she has a move named after her. Awesome. Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes. Your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Okay, well, it's super easy because that paper was still on the wardrobe. Obviously, I couldn't have gotten in the wardrobe and put that paper on. It's that easy. Have you forgotten already what you achieved just a few weeks ago? You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. She's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I'll show her some evidence right now that proves I'm not guilty of this awful crime. It's the paper seal. Tell me, when I was discovered in the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember it clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there, just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. So naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. Dun dun dun! But I already knew that. No, I'm not Spider-Man. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Yeah, you kind of damn near threw out my back by doing that move. Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here, at least. Thank you. So, you finally believe me? I'm sorry, no. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does she think I am, a magician? Obviously, she thinks that of me. From how I, defended myself a few weeks ago, it was pretty impressive. For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. All right, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh, yeah. I shall be watching you to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Conjuring tricks, though? I mean, do I know magic? Well, anyway, I should start on investigating in here, examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear, I will avenge your death. Alright, yeah, we don't need to talk anymore. Let's examine. Oh, the sailor is still in here. So did he just, like, hear everything that we just talked about? Probably not. This is, yes, it's a bell cord contraption, I think. What do you mean contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes. In the interest of cultural research, obviously. It worked. Is anybody gonna come? I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No. I'm sure it's just that everyone else is busy, that's all. That's gotta be it, right? Not everybody on this ship can be racist. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? I already figured out how to look around. I literally already did that. That's the only reason I saw the bell cord. I'm sure if you look carefully around using the left and right keys, then you'll find everything. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. I suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Okay. I mean, I still want to care about this vent. Let's talk about that. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Oh ho ho! Yes, it would appear to, you're right. But if its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough, or something like that? I suppose. Maybe that's it. Well, let's talk about this wardrobe again. It's 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. And last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. And I feel like I let her down. Really, I let myself down. My husband died. Ugh. This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. Oh, I get a little zoom in. London Diary. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means, what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? Let's see what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Hiya! Hiya! That's out of the question. Maybe she is in love with Kazuma. She could be. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? It could be, you know. Alright, I won't read it. Until later, that is, when Susato-san's not around. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either, but in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? At least to me, anyway. What's up with this trunk? That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yeah, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away on this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Yeah, we'll talk about the statue next, don't worry. Ah yes, I see it says "this way up" in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewman wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Jeez. Oh dear. Being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Statue? The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They've all toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost as if the whole shelf has been ransacked and everything mown down at once. I wonder if perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? No, I don't think, because everything would be super slashed. I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps it was you, Naruhodo-san, in a fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books and a statue. Could the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder? Maybe. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. You're literally disturbing a crime scene right now. Susato. Oh. I can't believe it. I can't believe she just disturbed a crime scene. Yeah. I should probably look at... I don't want to look at where his dead body fell. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. And then written this with his finger, I guess. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of clue in his final moments, was he? And he put it in Russian for some reason? Is it mirrored? I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Russian. I think some of these they're definitely not the script that English people use. I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. Well, I know it's not. What, then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? When the hell did you get here? And why are you on the desk like that? Oh, how did he... You noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious. And tall. Suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no. I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew, but there's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk, or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. Am I just imagining it, or does Susato-san look almost uncontrollably excited? Spasiba. By the way, I expect that you'd notice already, but just in case, if you press A on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Thank you for the meta-knowledge, but I already knew that. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. Also, literally where did you come from? Like, actually. Let's talk, though. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh, this is a critical point in my investigation. Okay. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings! Hope I haven't kept you long. I don't know. How do I do a British accent? My immersion. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? It's Herlock Sholmes, actually, not Sherlock Holmes. Get it right. Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? It feels like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. How did I forget how to do a British accent? My deductions have crystallized. I can only do like a higher pitched one. I'm not gonna do that. You have been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Just recently returned, if I am not mistaken. Sorry? What? And now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? Were we in Afghanistan recently? I don't know. How the deuce did I know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Have you perhaps managed to deduce anything else? But of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you may have fled your native land of Russia, being as you are a merciless revolutionary. No. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. What? And when the beribboned occupant of this very cabin discovered your identity, you ended his life too. Yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Yeah, it's definitely the plot of the fanfic he's writing. Just to be clear, you are talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see another in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this to Kazuma-sama. What? And you're plotting a revolution, too. It's a shameful behavior, Naruhodo-san. Absolutely wicked. No. Listen. Hi-ya! She keeps doing this to me. Now explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. I'm never gonna get out of this cabin alive. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary, obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament, do you not? Well, yeah, maybe. Ha! There you have it, you see. What do you make of that, Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder, so I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more plain observation. Indeed. An observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brassy certitude, and more often than not, I'm right. Huh. I don't think you introduced yourself. No. She's not dumb all of a sudden. She just thinks that Herlock Sholmes is really, really smart. And he's definitely not. Oh, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Herlock Sholmes. What a guy. So, it's really you? The actual Herlock Sholmes? The very same. The inimitable actual Herlock Sholmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san. Of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on, then? We must ask him what he's deduced. Well, he already told us, and it was completely wrong. So, yeah. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Like, he's gonna be completely wrong about it, I'm sure, but... let's converse with him. Okay, great detective. Tell me all about yourself. So, you're a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I'm none other than the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Oh, I see. You're German? Airlock, was it? No, I have no air. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Sholmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Yes, here it is. The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. So you're the protagonist in a series of short stories, then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, you've started to think you really are a detective? Make no mistakes, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, presently keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment, I'm returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really, I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is, to me, a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, a slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furs in the skin. All these things are data. Right. And the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. And as I demonstrated only a few short moments ago, how can he look me in the eye and claim that? So you see, I have a turn both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Herlock Sholmes. Dude, you're actually crazy, but I kind of like it. I've managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow! Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. I see. In other words, I'm in these now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all the crew members to force this cabin open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Herlock Sholmes, was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, 2 facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? 2 facts, you say? Let's talk about these 2 facts, I guess. Mr. Sholmes, tell us, please, what 2 facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes. But first, let us be precise. The 2 facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The 2 facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1, the cabin was locked from within, rendering escape from the culprit out of the question. Number 2, the victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. That is not the case. That is not true. Hold on, Mr. Sholmes, what made you think the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That is the Russian word for wardrobe. Oh, I mean, he put that to the crew so that I wouldn't die. Otherwise, I would have just starved to death in the wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama would have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderob may be the name of the killer, a certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I decided it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least, where you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so. I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Well, don't mind if I take that as evidence. This was taken immediately after the young man was... This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. I don't see any other information there. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yeah, thank you. Yep, added into the court record. Can I ask you something, Mr. Sholmes? What, pray? You mentioned Russia before as well, did you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah, yes, the train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Would you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Is that spasiba? I have no idea how to say that. I can't speak Russian. Certainly, if it interests you. How many times... I'm not Russian, and I don't speak Russian. Can we talk about your deduction before? The things you concluded about me, I mean. Sikablet Rushby. Ah, the now famously accurate, troubling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. The ones that were completely wrong. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Oh yes, the more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads, Revolutionary Vilain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. This vessel made a port call at Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma a Russian? It sounds like Mr. Sholmes has concluded he was Russian because of what Kazuma-san was wearing. Or wrote, excuse me, what he wrote. It was a simple act of reasoning to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. One who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after this true identity was discovered. Yes, you, Vilain Bolshevik. No. How could it be me? I don't look anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learnt to revolutionize your appearance as well. Please. And I might add, your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Need I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah yes, the journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. Wait, the journalist interviewed the guy? The, guy that's on the run and should have been, put in jail? That doesn't make any sense. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far and those he's plotting. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was concluded. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? Okay, obviously I need to stop doing my own commentary because the game characters do their own commentary. And what about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region in Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Wow, you are not very worldly traveled, are you? Here, take this paper for yourself, as a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you? I've absorbed all that is of interest to me within its pages, but I've seen no rubbish bin yet. Okay, so now I have the article about Mr. Bolshevik. And, as you may find the article on the back page... Oh, you may find the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometime if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. But I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Yeah, let's take a look at that article real fast. Okay. There's a woman with a crown. This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I, but look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? She is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Huh. I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novavik Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. Oh, so you like her, do you? The tiara is the property of the Novavik Ballet. It would seem the director is beside herself with worry. Yeah, I'm not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailings to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? It does seem to be the Russian thing to do, apparently. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. Wow. So I guess Susato-san just hates me. But, you know, that's fine. And I really hope this article about Mr. Bolshevik isn't of any bearing on the case. But you never know, I guess. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. The pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary Vilin Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Yeah, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I don't think that's why that is. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Yeah, God. I don't even need my own commentary, and I keep doing it anyway. Oh, it came in as its own piece of evidence, right. Yeah. Let's talk about some more investigation stuff. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma. Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment. The desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in appending some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping some notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Namely Susato-san. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read it already? Dude, come on. You read really fast. It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you're about to know what a Susato takedown is. Oh, you're just gonna remain silent about it? Susato-san, aren't you gonna throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, to return to the matter at hand, namely, this diary belonging to the victim. Yeah, tell me about it. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but, I thought you knew Japanese. A smattering, dear boy, a smattering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you're suitably impressed. Ah, yep. But this diary is littered with complicated-looking characters of which I can read precisely none. So, what was all that about showing off before then? Obviously he doesn't know Japanese. If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read it to you, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, so you can read it and I can't. Okay. I'm much obliged, my dear madam. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just 2 short sentences. The first reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound coming from the ventilator, some gas being poured in. I knew it. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to that. To the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin, of course. So we're talking about a speckled band, are we? but what would that have to do with anything important? So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? As it happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter wants further investigation, I believe, and if I'm still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No, that would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrists would reveal the answer. Yeah, I am in handcuffs, that's true. Oh, these. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No? There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You totally did, though. You said that I was a Russian assassin that killed this guy. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. This guy's insane. Well, actually, Mr. Sholmes, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Well, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know? Not really. So, what? Were you looking at my knees before? Some great detective you are. Well, anyway, that was then and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Now he's just being plain rude. This guy's an asshole. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Naruhodo-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about these? There's no way Hey-ya! I'm on the floor again. Why? After Kazuma-sama spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you're willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. Jeez. Yeah, maybe Herlock Sholmes does have two personalities. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to slip next door. Good idea! And, the situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things that I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. And bring the real culprit to justice. Yeah. Do I really need to talk to the sailor man? Well, what's happening here? That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But, did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susada-san. I ate at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how did the plate end up on the floor? But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So we didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on this earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Really? That's horrible? Like, not just the fact that he died, but the fact that he died with an empty stomach? Also, yeah, who doesn't like chicken? That's such a weird thing to not like. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. Oh, there's a sword. Oh my god, I should have looked at that so long ago. That's Kazuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yeah, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana was his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. I suppose that shows just how important it was to him. And now he's gone, but I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. The last thing I want to do is talk to that sailor. Seigi, the Japanese word for justice. The brushstrokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet you, can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Okay, you still think I did it. Even though you stowed away on this ship? Okay, true. Now you're gonna bring that up, are you? I can't win. Yeah, what's up with this? This thing in red. Definitely a warning. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Well, the katana is there, so... What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? A pet. I'm Kazuma's pet. We had that sort of relationship going on. I just want to point that out. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Yeah, the lock's broken on the door because the sailors had to break into the cabin. It was locked from the inside. So, obviously we're in here now. Let's see. Did I already... Yeah. What is this? There's like a mark on the floor. What do you think this is? It looks like a piece of broken glassware. Actually, kind of looks like a bell? Kind of? Whatever the thing was, it appears to have broken clean in two. And I don't see the second part anywhere. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. Oh. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him. Would he? I mean, no, he had the sword. And the mark beside it. What is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yeah, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in the cabin. Okay, so that's gonna be relevant eventually, I assume. Let's talk about the door. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this bolt had been firmly closed. It's quite a small bolt and not particularly sturdy. And it just slides across to secure the door shut. But still, with the door bolted, there would be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. Unless you broke it. It's no wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel, the culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Oh. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There would be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. She keeps glaring at me. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. Ah. Hey, I know you. Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean? That is not the crewman. That is Inspector Hosonaga, and everybody knows it. He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Why don't we try talking to him? Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. But I suppose I could try. Alright, Hosonaga, give it to me. Yeah, it's casually dying man again. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help but feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Probably because you have. Oh yes, you're right. He does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? Hey man, what's up? I recognize that face, but it can't be. Yep, it's definitely him. It is! I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Alright, you're just gonna wipe it on your sleeve? Jeez. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you, my heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. Nearly stopped, I hope. Okay, gotcha. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew and board the ship. Was it to find Bolshevik? I bet it was. Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. He always has his arm like that because, look, poses, you can only have so many in a 3D game, right? Or something. And it makes us know it's him. I don't know. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board. But perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. Also, didn't I say at the end of the last episode we would definitely see Nobunaga again? Here he is. Let's talk. So what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? Well? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asogi-san's bodyguard. You absolutely failed in that endeavor then. Come on. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asogi-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. That was a possibility? Assassinated? How could that have even been a possibility? I'm gonna stop doing my own commentary. I swear. I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Minister Jigoku said that we should be prepared for all eventualities. This is incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we couldn't give Asogi-san a visible security escort. Which is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board, from morning until night, every day. But I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin. Not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asogi-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. So if there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. Okay, so you don't think I did it at least. What we're doing here... excuse me. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not! We don't know. I shouldn't have to say this like a million times. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes. So, we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose, I'm not just a stowaway now. They think I'm a murderer as well. Well, yeah. Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? If I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example, I'd do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really. I'd lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how... I mean, what evidence could we possibly give? There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you tried to persuade me of your innocence, Naruhodo-san, by presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you're in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Simply select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Okay. I have no idea what we could use, though. Like, literally, I have no clue. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence he needs to persuade the captain. Not the paper seal. Probably not the crime scene photograph. Oh, Kazuma's diary. Yeah, probably that. Let's, wait, how do I... do I have to present? There we go. That's how you do that. Let's go ahead and do it. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary, as anyone would know. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, "What looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill." A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that, but what I'd like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You're very astute, Inspector. And there it is! The ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we could just investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Thoughts? Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes, as long as you don't leave the first-class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs, though. But what about the cabin? Aren't you going against the captain, aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I'll lay my life on the line if that is what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogi-san safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find out. Alright, now is the time. We're gonna move to the other cabin. It was that easy. The 9th of January, 7:48 a.m. SS Buria, first class cabin, passageway. Oof, I'm finally out of that cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be. And this is the most luxurious accommodation. So, yeah, pretty small. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in the steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, wow. This place is big. Oh, look over there. That's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose... like, people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know, but the thing is, I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. And, ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. How do you forget these things? It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. Honestly. Alright. Let's, is this the other cabin? I thought that I would need to go in here or something. First class cabin number 1. Yep, that's our cabin. Not our cabin, it's Kazuma-sama's. Sorry? Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin. You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in the steerage is number 539, by the way. 500 and... how many cabins are there? That's a lot, right? Jeez. Oh yeah, it looks like a mousetrap, right? Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yeah, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Chalk? That can't be right. Let me see. Yes, I think that is what they called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Right! Cheese doesn't exist in Japan. They straight up don't eat it. And it's weird enough to have them drink milk. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But, yeah, I suppose you're right. Where are you keeping that book? You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later. Well, thanks. That'd actually be pretty nice, yeah. I would like that. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? What about that shape is pleasing? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship, and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it! But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included. If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. True. Is this the cabin I need to look in? So I didn't actually go to the other cabin, I just went to the hallway. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours, the one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Oh. Hey. Oh. Why do you have these weird sunburns on your face? Excuse me, we, need to get inside this cabin here. I guess he'll just continue looking intimidating until I go away. The sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out. That's what I wrote on the sign That's what I wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective. It doesn't look like he's going to let us pass. That's a problem. Yeah, it's definitely a problem. Could I talk to him? This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck, look. The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, actually, but how is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? It's all about density. Literally, you know? Ballasts and whatnot. Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. Is it? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan. Okay. Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? That's not how islands work. Islands aren't floating. Like, because if they were floating, you could just, like, move them. The islands are just when the land rises high enough above water level to be land. That's it. It's not just a lump of dirt that's floating in the water. Susato, I thought you were smarter than this, really. Well, I suppose so. Oh, that's your whole reasoning? That's your whole reasoning. That's... Wow, you really aren't as intelligent as I thought you were. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer? That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid. Oh. We seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman Beef Stroganoff. What a great name. That's amazing. I love it. Whew, that's the best thing. The best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Oh, but you're gonna let us talk to you, perhaps. Mr. Stroganov, about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Buria steamship for very important persons. What sort of very important persons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret, many important persons. That's why I'm always guarding this place. Gosh, that's amazing. but somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not an animal. Thank you?
If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied?
Da.
Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes, or no.
Wow, come on. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there's somebody in the next door cabin at least.
Yes, it's tantalizing.
That's a weird word to use. Let's talk about the passenger, yeah. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He is very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman? Do not think about it. He has nothing to do with murder of student boy.
How can you be so sure about that?
Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands.
Wow, that's racist. Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard?
That is not your business.
Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Yeah, exactly, right? Are the culprits always going to be British? That's... I mean, we don't even know if this is the real murderer. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right?
That is not your business.
Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff?
Da, all time. So criminals like you cannot come in or get out.
I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all?
It is sad about student boy.
Were you on watch last night as well?
Of course.
And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual?
Yet.
Niet. Is that right?
Yet.
Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no.
I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all.
And you didn't hear anything strange? Or sense anything was wrong in some way?
I said no.
Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there.
This is enough. I cannot say more now.
Oh.
It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin.
Yeah, alright.
Bulkhead to second class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or, as English say, when the pigs fly.
True. Yeah, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we? Definitely. Alright. So now we can move to the actual... Oh no, we can't go to the other cabin quite yet. Do I really need to look at the ship protocols? I'm not gonna look at the door, I know it's locked. I don't really care about the protocols, but they're so shiny. Okay. That book on top of the table there really is huge. There's a pen with it too. Yes, I'm sure that's the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? Also, why wouldn't the ship's log be with the captain? Why is it randomly here in the first-class cabins? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough-and-ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. Anyway, look here. Last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means there was nothing to report. Or that he fell asleep? Anyway, let's get in the cabin. This is it. This is the captain next to ours, the one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Well, fucking Herlock Sholmes is in there, right? Anybody home? No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. How annoying. Ah! What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Where did you come from? Mr. Sholmes. I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes. The door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then, how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What prey can I kick? I think we should go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Come on. I need to see who's in here. Oh my god, it's Mr. Bolshevik. Oh, who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. We heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out! All of you, now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimesby Roylott, I believe. Yes, that's me. And you are? I'm the one and only, the actual Herlock Sholmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I am a great detective among great detectives, one who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. So I assure you, you may trust me completely. And the man uses that magazine like a business card. Could be something under the sheets on the bed. I don't know. And also, yeah, how can she tell the doors and bolts from the outside? A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh, wait, actually? Oh my, did you see that, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, the case just shook. It's a pet. 100% a pet, right? Leave, now, otherwise I call the steward. So this is Kazuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimesby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Can I talk with you? Also, why do you have scissors? Mr. Roylott, we'd like to talk to you about something. No. Oh, I do not want to talk. Leave my cabin now. This is going terribly. We're not getting anywhere here. I agree, but there may be someone else who can help. Oh my god. Perhaps that great detective could come somewhere with could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. What if I show you this picture of you? Can I do that? Let me go to the present part. I bet you're gonna be like, ooh, that's not me. I pressed the wrong button. Here we go. We have this Russian newspaper here. I had the same newspaper in my cabin. Maybe they give it to all first-class passengers. Well, neither of us speak a word of Russian, so we can't read it at all. Would you mind telling us what this article is about? If you do not speak Russian, you do not need to know what it is saying. Ugh. Russia must be a cold, cold place. I mean, it is pretty cold, yeah. So, do I investigate the case? No, I'll do Herlock Sholmes. Hey, wait a minute. Why are the books in here messed up in the same exact way that they were messed up in Kazuma's room? Seems a little odd, right? Do you have a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes? You only need to address me as Sholmes. That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there? Why, I was resting, of course. Resting? Indeed. I was contemplating our sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need to call upon my great powers of detection. Oh! And it would seem that the hour is upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken? Well, no, actually, you're spot on for the first time. Observe closely. Our Russian host in this cabin, Mr. Roylott, is clearly trying to hide something. And you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? Why? The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusively for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian will react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it? Oh, yes, please. Well then, what you are about to see may well astound you. For I'm about to apply my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Alright, man. Don't mind me as I eat some of this peanut butter here, because I'm feeling a little snacky. And Susato-san did not provide me a snack like she said she would. Man, I love this stuff. Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you? What? From time to time, it occurs to me. What? Was I supposed to press that? What's happening? Okay, I must have accidentally pressed that button. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on his account of... or Russian on account of his dubiousness? That seems kind of racist, but whatever. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you, or anyone. That's right. And Mr. Sholmes, I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, it is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all evidence. It biases the judgment. Shit, I must have complete silence. What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that? Ah, just as I thought. Yes, I've quite made up my mind now. There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions. What? What do you mean? Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not? Oh. And number two, the other conclusion I have drawn, you are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you have been discovered. Does it not? Ah! Oh, Naruhodo-san! I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Holmes's great deductions with my own eyes. That was a great deduction? Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. What? What ineffable twaddle! Wow, they're really pulling out all sorts of vocab. Ineffable meaning unable to be put into words, I think. Pretty sure that's what that means. Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true. I can hardly believe it, but all the color has drained from Mr. Roylott's face. It looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right. How? How could you? How could I possibly know such things? Do you wish to say? Well, I'm Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So do I cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. Oh, the great deduction. The game is afoot. This is cool. I really like this. So, the dubious-looking Russian, Mr. Roylott, obviously, what catches the eye in the first place is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now, we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using these shears to cut away the copious beard you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begged is this: why would you desire to rid yourself of this magnificent beard, Mr. Roylott? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front-page article, which, it would appear, you have read also, Mr. Roylott. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Okay, so we can see that he's not really into this. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decided to remove your incriminating facial hair before it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself, you understand. Oh. Another thing, okay. Now, as for my second conclusion, you are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Roylott. Taken unawares, people have a proficiency to let their eyes stray, you see. And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. It's in the case. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. Oh, he didn't agree with that. Okay, so it's something else on this side of the room. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare. No, I refuse. What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation. A young lady, perhaps. One slight enough to fit therein. I don't think so, but we'll see. Don't be absurd. And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the travelling case? Dear me. We are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oil betrays you. Coup d'oil? I have no idea what that is. Once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. Okay, so he did not agree with that. For there's another, more stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but to one conclusion. Your crime is that of abduction, and according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. Okay, these deduction animations are awesome. These are so great. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma. Element 3. Elementsky. Is that what he said? Susato-san, that wasn't one of the great deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it? Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow. Excuse me, Mr. Sholmes, could you come over here a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Oh yes, I recall a discussion earlier, and at that time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Will be able to revolutionize his own appearance. In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do. That's not the point. And another thing, that part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, a truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly. You'd be lucky to fit a 5-year-old child in that case. Not that I'm saying you should, but you could, even if you pushed really hard. I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she? You mean you don't know? No, the young lady is 15. Oh, well, I didn't know. No, I didn't know. How could I? Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case. Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a shower bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes. This whole thing is turning into a circus. Yeah, ballerinas are not contortionists, although I guess they're very limber. Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me now about Mr. Sholmes' deductions. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Miss Usato. It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to have let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactically switch them for alternatives. What do you think? Switch some key words in his deduction. Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure we could do that. We'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction. Precisely the thought that I was going through in my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrist. My wrist? When did the handcuffs come off? Ah, where are your handcuffs? Huh? How did... I felt they may hinder your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it. Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel. It kind of is. And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. Oh, but I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this. So, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh! Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Dude. Yes. I'm super, super, super into it. Right. So, he agreed with the shears. That's not the issue here. Yeah, but then he said that he wanted to cut off the beard. No. This is where we need to change some things. I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard? I doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. It doesn't quite sit right with me, though. It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylott either. Which means, I suppose, that the deduction is wrong. Let's try to switch a key word here, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps matters. Alright, but how? I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylott. I wonder if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on. Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better, then what? Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san. Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. Now, what exactly was Mr. Roylott really going to use those enormous shears for? The beard? Oh, what? Oh my god? Is this the ballerina? Oh my goodness, this is the ballerina, isn't it? She stowed away of her own accord. She wanted to cut off her long locks. What the? What's this? It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks. No, the color's not the point. The point is, what is it doing on the back of Mr. Roylot's head? And how is it growing out from underneath his thick black hair? Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising. Something's definitely not right here. Yeah, this is definitely the one. Oh, we broke this deduction wide open. Oh, now it's me! You were on the verge of using these shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise detail I was intending to expose. Such lush golden hair certainly does not befit an old man. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one very still much near the youth. Oh no. Or should I be, oh no. If only I'd managed to cut off my hair. No one would have expected. No one would have suspected. The question then begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of these magnificent locks? Once again, the answer is plain. We have clear evidence to shed light on the matter. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the ballerina. Come on. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? What? Why are you staring at me like that? Yes, it was a surprise, Naruhodo-san. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Sorry? You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room, deducing facts with Mr. Sholmes. I'm just doing what we agreed. I'm not having fun or anything. This is strictly business. Not... yes, I understand. Say no more. Well, anyway, let's focus on this next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he's picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now. No, that's true, given that Mr. Roylott is actually a woman. Exactly, he, or rather, she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary. I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole is taking a different direction now. Yes. Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we now understand them. For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Yep.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is, of course, the article about the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Novovich Ballet disappears from Shanghai. It would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yes, because your true identity is that of the Novovich Ballet's prima ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Ah! It was you the whole time. You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. Nice. So let's talk about the wrongdoing, I guess. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray. Yeah, we talked about this. but it's not the case. It's gotta be like the desk or the bookshelf. Yeah, I'm not sure. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly, she can't be inside that traveling case as well. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see I'm gonna have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes? Stop it. Anyway, there must be something else here that shows what this woman is up to. She stole the tiara. Well, alright, let's do that.
Yes!
The proof of your crime is surely this tiara. Yep, she's agreeing. Huh. I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Novovich Ballet, is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting is to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. In summary, the crime you have committed is theft. Oh no! Yes, you left your ballet troupe, unlawfully taking the precious tiara with you. Ah! How dare you? These animations are so fun. I have no one, no family, no friends. I'm all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me. This girl is only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely. Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point to hiding it now. Come, let us not be hasty. What? There remains one unsolved mystery about you. Mystery? What? What do you mean? You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wish for it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good sense of the contents of your case, even before I've ever laid eyes on them. Oh. Dear me. We're not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'oeil betrays you. Okay, once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. No, I really don't think so. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now. I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you? Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought up the bookshelf? It's just a wild guess, surely. Oh, do you think so? Well, it doesn't seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her. Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself. Then there has to be another reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn. I agree, that's the only answer. Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookshelf. The rules of passage? Oh, 'cause there's a pet, right? Yeah, these are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. There was exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules. Oh dear. I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhodo-san. You'd probably be left to drift in the freezing cold ocean, or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end. So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I? Yeah, definitely this. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the rules of passage.
Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That is the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova. Inside your traveling case is the last item listed as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage, a pet. Ah! Such powerful deduction. Dude, that was a great deduction. Elementary. That's so cool that you get to, like, do these deductions with Herlock Sholmes. That's... wow. So clearly, you aren't who you said you were.
No, I'm not Grimesbeer Boylat. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
You absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on aboard without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an old gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well alone. So, if it was just you, about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? That veritable tinkling of a bell? Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. More like a full set of pipes, if you ask me. I mean, pretty loud, apparently.
I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? So no one would recognize me. As a result, you transform yourself into that questionable old man? I see. I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper, right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened. I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand, and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
You look so aghast. Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing?
There's just one more thing I'd like to know. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say it to any of the crew.
Your secret is safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us, in as much detail as you can muster, about the events of last night.
Yes, alright. I will tell you.
I mean, I'm all ears for this.
Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholmes' great deduction?
Well, I had to correct it. It was certainly something, yeah. I'm just not entirely sure what, but at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows. That's incredible. Indeed, it is incredible. I love that Susato gets scared whenever he just, like, pops on screen.
Oh, and one more thing.
Oh, yes? What?
Observe your wrists.
My...
Oh, son of a bitch. Ah, your hands are cuffed again.
What? But how?
True to my word, I have restored your shackles.
Ugh, when? And why?
There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can't it? Really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on without knowing. I have to find out what the Speckled Band that Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary really was.
Please don't tell me it's a snake. Do you have a snake? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh,
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you notice anything unusual last night?
perhaps you heard a strange noise, for example. Perhaps people talking?
Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest? Perhaps its steam engine exploded? Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh, I see. You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Novovich Ballet?
Yes. I'm traveling to Great Britain, and from there, I want to go to America. I will never dance again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life.
You wish to forget? A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I needed to live.
You needed to live.
I have no money of my own. The Novovich Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world. I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me.
I do remember hearing that the Russian ballet back in the day was basically just slavery.
So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes. And the crew of the ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin.
If that is indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Me? Oh, well, yes, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum, I'm not sure, but... yeah, let's do it. Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose to you a riddle. According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you exploded from the ballet. Now, that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel. However, the SS Boreas dropped by in port by no port last night. Ah, that's it, of course. So how is it, pray, that you come to be aboard? It's a good question.
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that. It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
I remember, yeah. That is not your business. Yeah, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something.
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Sorry? What was that?
It is how the Russian newspapers describe one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel.
Okay. Considering English isn't your mother language, your description is very vivid.
Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement for the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact. I feel like that's a lie. Yes, Mr. Showy. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is going to tell us what really happened. So be it. So the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, is that right?
I don't think animals are allowed on board, according to the rules of passage. Oh, please, don't tell. Don't tell any of the crew. If they found my precious... Then the burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt. Ah! So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes. What a great guy. But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? Is it? It is, isn't it? It's not a puppy. It's definitely not a doggo, I'm sorry. Maybe an adorable little rabbit? So it's definitely a snake. Ah, you credit Russia as a land with small rapids, do you? Oh wait, Russia doesn't have snakes. Or does it? I don't know, it's really cold, right? Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. Ah. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken. Really? Considering the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. Very cool, very cool. But no, it is not a chicken. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. He just laughs at random times. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to there's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to shed some light on it. Do I have something I can show her? I don't think there's anything useful in my possession. So I probably need to examine the room a little bit. Yeah. Oh, maybe in the bin? Let me see. Don't touch! Huh? I will tell you what I know about last night, but please, you must not touch my things. How do you say, forbid it? Oh, sorry. As well you should be, young man. What vulgar manners you have. Poking around in a young lady's private belongings? Neither shall I allow it. But that's a trash can. Gah, hypocrite. Dude, he poked around in... lots of places. So, there's nothing more I can talk to you about. I'm definitely not going to move anywhere else. What do I need to show you exactly? Oh, yeah, I guess this. This is the diary of my friend who passed away. His diary? Yes. And he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual. It reads, 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. And then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? I don't understand. It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins to this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall. In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together. Oh. Miss Pavlova? Has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean anything to you, or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything. Oh. I think you're lying, though. Knock, knock. Excuse me, Mr. Roylott. Yes. What? Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please. Alright, I will come now. What? You must leave, now. Oh no, it's fine. Don't mind us. Yes, please don't worry yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out! The passenger said out! Or do you want me to throw you out? It looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later. What a pity. Darn, darn, darn. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. Yeah. To be continued. Okay. So what, is the trial gonna start next? Maybe so. You know, I like to end these at to be continueds. But, yeah, I suppose it'd be safer to leave it there. Well, no, we're still on the ship. What else could there possibly be for me to do on the ship if not continuing? Yeah. I'll play for another 45 minutes to see what happens. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Gosh, I mean, really, where can I move? I guess I can just go back to Kazuma's cabin, but I really don't see any reason to do that, right? And this is still closed, I presume? That door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well... that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Alright. Yep. Oh, it's gonna go through this again. Well. Don't worry, don't worry. I already went through this conversation. It's just like time is repeating itself. I'm stuck in a time loop, you see. Maybe I can go back to actually having food. God dang, I am hungry. I really should have had dinner before this. Alright. Back to the options. Let's just go to my cabin. Really, what else can we do in here, right? Looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes. On that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Is he here? Because, oh no, he's over here. Did he take a beating? Oh my god, man. Wow. Ah, you're back. Inspector. What happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me that he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little bit about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Airlock Schones. I don't think it was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found. Yes, let's do it. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the captain next door? Yeah, oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well,
That tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops. Now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. Oh, we're going to Hong Kong, huh? The place that definitely is not with China, I see. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying to not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. Give it to me. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report? Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? I'm super wanting to know. Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There are no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, so at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. Thank you, Hosonaga. You're amazing. I love you so much. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. Susato, are you starting to feel bad about not trusting me? Let's talk about Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. The ink was shoe polish? It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Oh, that mark is shoe polish. Gotcha. Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? Let me guess, he, like, tasted it? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red, then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does that mean that this mark was made by the shoe polish on Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed the floor? Well, wait a minute. That would lead me to believe that Kazuma just tripped. But that can't be right. That can't be right. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yeah, that might be the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Yeah, he was. You could not have fucked up more, honestly. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is,
I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Okay. I don't really feel like there's anything else I need to look at in here. Right? Maybe. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and I spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly unambiguous, it could have just spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it? Yeah, like, if he died of a cervical fracture, I mean, that's like an instant death, and you wouldn't be able to move your hand, even if it wasn't instant. So, somebody else wrote that? But someone would have had to come into the room to write it. Really weird. I don't know. So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. In just a few moments before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The spectacled band, as he described it. Or speckled band, excuse me. If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. Maybe she's not. I'm not sure. I know most people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. 1:23 a.m., faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m., looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Looking at his writing here on the page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san. We will. Maybe... No, I guess... Well, it could be coming from this weird horn, right? But I can't inspect it. Let's look at that bookshelf. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Same. I also definitely cannot. I guess I'll talk to you. I haven't talked to you yet. Joe, where did you go? Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. Huh. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I'll roll him into a ball and throw him into cold room. Well, sorry. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Yeah, actually, it could be quite a whiles. Oh, I never looked at the table, I guess. Or the tablecloth, specifically? There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still. No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny. I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Obviously, the paper on the wardrobe. Come on, we talked about this. There's nothing else I can investigate, so...
I guess I'm just gonna leave the room. Let's get out of here. Da, 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 da. Okay, yeah, there must definitely be something new going on here.
Ah! Look, Naruhodo-san! Seaman Stroganoff is gone.
Strong enough?
The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us.
Ah, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. It's it's beef stroganoff and pavlova, or no, what was her name? Actually, I guess I don't remember. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-li-ra-li-la-li. I did it in the great detective way.
This caroling.
I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate.
Oh, it's right. It is Pavlova. Cool. Definitely. Before that, Stringy Knot Crewman comes back.
It's Stroganov, not Stringy Knot.
It's not even a hard name to remember, honestly. But whatevs. Alright. Here's where some crazy crap's gonna happen. Oh. No, the case is open. I guess things are a lot different than last time we were here.
Miss Pavlova isn't here. Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone?
Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things.
There's not a moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can.
I suppose you're right, for Kazuma's sake.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It can't be long now until we arrive at port, in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
What, really?
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san. By ourselves if we have to.
Oh wait, is there no trial? Am I just solving a case? Yes, we will. Maybe this won't actually have a trial. That'd be crazy.
Naruhodo-san, are you there?
Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why?
Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home.
Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes.
I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in here, but no such luck. In fact, let me take a look at the case.
Oh my! Miss Pavlova's case is open!
It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret.
Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animals she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Alright, let's look at these books. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps?
He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin.
Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase?
I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company?
Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage?
Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
Again, disturbing a scene, but whatever. Also, I don't know how you just know how the books are supposed to be. Seems like a little weird of a thing. Okay, this is a dish for the pet to eat out of, I guess.
I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor.
Yes, it does look like it's been dropped. Or
No, it was definitely put there deliberately. Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? I know I don't need to look at that. Let's look at the trash can. I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhodo-san, it's poor etiquette to go stifling through someone's rubbish, you know. Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly. We have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. The delivery on that was perfect. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that. Dang, I don't even remember asking you. Jeez. And I can't look at this bag for some reason. Odd. Can't look at the bed. I can look in the ventilation shaft, though. So this ventilator connects to Kazuma's cabin next door. Yes. Although what a foolish shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Ah, maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Kazuma wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. True. And I guess there's the same bell here. Is this the speckled band? This, like, tassel? But why would it be thrown into the other room? I don't see why that would matter. There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuma's cabin, too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. She did it. She rang the bell. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug, too. But if somebody came, that'd be really bad, right? Because we really want to, like, examine the room. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Jeez, you're the worst secret agent person I've ever known. Oh. Yeah, here. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd like 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san? I mean, I just need to look at the rules in the door now, I guess. Ah, yes. They're displayed in this cabin, too. Look, the SS Buria's rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins, and pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. He's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. Well, maybe. You never know. I just hope Seaman Stroganov doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes. So do I. Is this really the last thing that I can look at? Alright. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of Triggery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. Something just clicked for me. The books all fell to the left, right? So that means the ship must have tilted at some point, and maybe that motion caused the bolt to relatch in Kazuma's room. So really, anybody could have gone into that room and snapped his neck, if that is the case. I would just have to be able to prove that. But hey, I bet you I'm right. 1,000 to 1. We'll see. And it seals up perfectly too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Alright. Yep. Yep. The case is totally empty. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else that I can look at. Alright, well, I guess I can probably just leave then. But I didn't find any information. Oh no, was I supposed to find something else? Anything new here? Nope. Alright, time to go back to Miss Pavlova's cabin. I obviously missed something. I just don't know what it would be. Oh, that's not how that works. Alright, got it. Yeah, I can't use my mouse to look around, which I think is a little bit weird, but it's fine. Do I need to look specifically at the clothes? No. The drawers? No. I'm missing something really easy. I can feel it in my bones. This picture is apparently nothing. That horn is nothing. Well, maybe I need to investigate somewhere else first. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go ahead and see. Maybe there's like, there's something in the passageway that I totally missed. Maybe the door outside is open. Yeah, the emergency alarm. Ah, well, there you are. Were you there the whole time? I have no idea. I meant to click on the guy, not on the wall, but thank you. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes, look. Wow, you never know when he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Oh, so he's probably in here earlier, I guess. Tra-la-la, lira-lira-lay, I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky Urlock was about. Excuse me. I solved it all, and I stood tall, and I did it the great detective way. I didn't realize that this... Okay, I should have... I solved it all, and I stood tall, and I did it the great detective way. That's a great song. The original. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it? You want to fight? Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good a time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Jeez Louise, he's ready to throw deuces. Mr. Holmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Oh yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log, as pinned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 a.m. this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report. Nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stands sentry in this first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes that in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there's just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. So you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night, which led to the seaman being absent from this post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your Minter file. Yeah, okay, done. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sholmes Sholmes. Brilliant in this. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Everyone's kind of afflicted by this for some reason. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just, well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? It's happening to everybody, I guess. So, am I supposed to go back to Kazuma's cabin now and talk to the inspector? No. But that throbbing wouldn't have anything to do with anything, right? Yeah, these are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Yep. Bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. We know it to be true. She called it her friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin. Well, not anymore. Alright, I don't think there's anything else I can really look at. Alright, back to Pavlova's cabin. Maybe I just had to talk to Herlock Sholmes first. Oh! Ding-a-ling-ling-ling. Oh, what's that? There'd be alarms going off. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile forward. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands, brace for impact. Oh, what the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. Ah! What in the heck is going on? Susato-san, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruhodo-san. Everything's cool. Yeah, see, the ship just went hard to starboard. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness. What about you, Naruhodo-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello? Is everybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... I don't know who that is. Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruhodo-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. What? The bolt? See, it's shut now. I was exactly right. Look at that. The door's bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. But the picture wasn't askew last time. Naruhodo-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? Yeah, I will. I'd better tidy this place up first. I don't know why you need to tidy up before that. Our violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way. But I knew that what awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Oh, to be continued. Okay, great. Well, that's actually much better timing to end this stream. So I'll just save here and then end it off. Yeah. I'll almost definitely be continuing this tomorrow. Probably in the morning. Yeah, so be ready for that. If you want to see the continuation of the adventure of the Speckled Band. Alright. Let's get out of here. I don't need to save. You just saved for me. It's totally not even a problem. But I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully tomorrow. Everyone have a good weekend. Remember to eat and sleep well.